In 2 days? Wonder how the investigation's going. Let's go check in with Yelan and Chevres.
Wow! Can this launch blaster thing really shoot stuff from that far away?
It does launch and blast things, but it's actually called a ballista. And yes, it can.
But how does it stay on target?
It uses a remote guidance system. But I'll let you in on a little secret. The upgraded version doesn't even need that.
Can I give it a try?
Oh, not a chance, kid. Can't have you hurting yourself. Believe me, this thing is even more powerful than it looks. Ask me again once you're older.
Hey, Beto! What you up to?
Oh, it's you two! I was just introducing our product to these discerning young customers.
Paimon thought you were here for some, fishing? Wait, are these three?
What? No, of course not. The kids were just curious, that's all.
I'm sorry. Are these three preventing you from doing business? Let me get them out of your hair. Come on, time to go.
Oh, do we have to?
Don't sweat it. They were just curious. I'm happy to tell them more about it.
No, we've taken up enough of your time already. Neb, don't bother people when they're trying to work, okay?
Okay.
It was no bother, I swear. In fact, once the expo is over, come find me on my ship, and I'll let you see the ballista in action. How does that sound?
How much would it cost?
Not a single mora.
Really? It's a promise then, miss.
Your vessel. It's a battleship, isn't it? Are you sure you should be bringing children on board?
Why not? Whenever we're docked back in Liyue to pick up supplies, I always let the kids around the harbor come aboard to play, and boy, do they love it. If a kid from Liyue can do it, why not a kid from Sumeru? A battleship may as well be a giant playground to them.
Is that so? I've heard that people in Liyue also turn gunpowder into explosive firecrackers and give them to children as toys. Perhaps only the kids back in your home country are lucky enough to look at a giant battleship and see a playground.
If you're worried about safety, I can...
No, I suppose I'm just envious. That's all. I'll be sure to bring them over if we get the chance.
Seems like he really cares about those kids, huh? Anyway, what did you want to talk about?
Oh, just wanted to ask how it's going with the top secret, fishing. Did you reel in the catch of the day yet?
They're circling the hook just fine. Just waiting for a bite.
Whoa! Where did you come from?
Shh.
Well, that just proves my point. Something like this would only see more use in Fontaine.
Except, you never find something like this for sale there. Better jump on the chance now before it's too late.
Excuse me?
He's coming this way!
Steady now.
That's mighty expensive.
Well, no one's forcing you to buy it. If you're not interested, you're free to move along.
What? Come on, there's no rule saying we can't haggle.
The Voynich Guild gets a cut of whatever I sell. Obviously, that's factored into the price. Don't like it? Take it up with them.
Listen, I can tell this is something special. If you're willing to go a bit lower, I'm prepared to cut a huge deal.
I know it's something special, so I plan on getting paid what it's worth.
Perhaps there's a way we can both get what we want then.
What are you implying?
Well, Nod Cry's a big place. Surely this expo isn't the only place we can cut a deal.
Oh?
What would you say to working this out someplace else? Somewhere the guild can't get a cut?
That means no guild protection either. What will I do if you run off without paying?
Considering the giant sword you've got handy, if anyone's getting robbed, it'd be me, don't you think? Point is, we're both going out on a limb here. But the reward's worth the risk.
Fine. Name a place. As a registered participant, though, I'm too close to the guild. If we don't want them catching on, I'll need to send a proxy.
Smart thinking. Let's meet here, then.
Good. He took the bait. Let's go elsewhere to discuss our next move.
Watch out, do you, Hoda?
Just keeping an eye on things. Looking out for any problems that might need me to step in. Hey, you three! What are you doing here? There should be at least one of you manning the booth at all times.
Accessing booth operation logs. Analyzing. Neb left to try and buy a new blueprint. Ati soon followed to try and stop him. Finally, Rhea came to mediate between them.
I keep telling you, we don't have that much Mora to spare!
I just wanted to have a look. What's wrong with that?
Guys, seriously, stop fighting!
Here's the thing, Neb. Even if you could afford to buy a blueprint, I'm afraid I couldn't allow it. I know you like building stuff, but these designs aren't for toys like the kind you're used to. They're for weapons, which are very complicated to build and extremely dangerous.
That's a load of baloney, dumpster diver. My designs are toys too, actually.
Huh? You build a machine that can blast monsters into the sky, and in your mind, that's a toy?
I mean, at the end of the day, is there really that much difference between weapons and toys anyway?
Not where Knuckle Duckle's concerned. That's for sure.
Ugh, that's not the point. Anyway, you there with the brown hair, you want a blueprint?
Yeah! I want to make some thwack and smack defense bots too. I also have some design ideas of my own. And with your bots as the basis, maybe I'll be able to try them out for real.
I get it. Your head's so full of ideas you want to bring to life that you can hardly sleep at night. You try eating some snacks to take your mind off things, but it doesn't seem to help anymore.
Exactly! But what can I do? I'll never be able to afford one of your blueprints.
Well, you must have blueprints for the toys you've made too, right? Let's trade. One of your toys for one of mine.
Really? Thank you so much, ma'am! Is it ma'am or...
It's Boss. Boss of the Clink Clank Crunkaki Craft Shop.
Thank you so much, boss of the Clink Clank Crunkaki Craft Shop. Huh, that was very thoughtful. Who are you, and what have you done with Aino?
What's that supposed to mean? I'm a boss, aren't I? A lot of people depend on me. Looking out for them is a big part of the job. Did that really just happen? For a moment there, Aino stopped being a little kid and acted like a full-on grown-up. A grown-up who's shorter than the kid she was looking out for, but still.
Previous records indicate that Aino has a 94% chance of adopting such behaviors when encountering a child in a similar situation to herself.
Ah, Traveler. Paimon. How do you do?
That's our secondary goal. To put it in Mr. Flintz's words, it's important for Lightkeepers to spend some time in the land of the living every once in a while.
That sounds like something he'd say, yeah. Are you interested in these muskets? Since we're friends, Paimon will let you in on some insider info. This officer here is basically selling scrap.
Oh, I'm well aware. The sign makes that quite clear.
True.
I'm interested in this particular piece because it brings to mind a picture I once saw. It featured several Ratniki and a Fatui officer who fought alongside them. The weapon that the latter used was identical to this one.
The Fatui teamed up with the Lightkeepers?
That's not unusual. I've heard similar stories from our older members. The owner of this musket must have been a hero who stood against the Wild Hunt as well. But why would you sell a hero's firearm?
That's just how the rules work on our end. Everyone agreed to it. Whether it's a no-name sergeant like me or a renowned hero, our equipment is to be collected and redistributed once we're dust on the wind. The stuff that's usable is given to new recruits, and the scrap is sold for whatever price it can still fetch. That way, we can at least put it towards feeding the grunts, you know? Better than following them to the grave.
Huh. I think I'm going to buy this musket, Mr. Flintz. Could you tell me a few more stories about it when you get the chance?
Of course.
So what's the situation in need of mediation?
This person's been glaring daggers at me from behind since she arrived. Hey, you! I'm a member of the Fruity Order, you hear?
What a coincidence. So am I.
Wait, really? I first encountered the humor and intelligence of trendy Zaytun Peach in the New Tide anthology. Then I heard the legend of intrepid Valberry while I was in the Fortress of Meripede. The more I heard about your order, the more it drew me in. I've been searching for so long, but I was never able to find an actual member. So when I heard that the Nodcry Trade Expo was being held again, I applied under your name. And now, I finally get to meet you.
It's those idiots. Stirring up trouble again, huh?
So what I'm getting is that this guy's an imposter?
Our orders won the expo rights several years in a row, so we announced that we were backing out of the running this year to avoid conflict. Then, this guy had to come along. A few of the other groups were looking to duke it out, so imagine their anger when someone claiming to be one of ours snatched the expo rights again.
Well, no one's made any trouble for me. Wait, does that mean you've taken them all out already? Man, I knew it! The Fruity Order's as good as they say! Can I join?
We can't make trouble at the expo. Voynich Guild rules. Once it's all over, meet me at the harbor in Nasha Town.
I see. All right, I'll be there.
Does he not realize what's going on here?
Also, considering our smooth collaborations thus far, a word of advice for the guild. This guy has only been able to keep his head in his booth because the Fruity Order took care of any rival factions. But if there's one thing the treasure hoarders have in spades, it's sore losers.
Since our order has proven untouchable so far, they're sure to find easier targets to vent their frustration on. So look after those kids.
Huh. So this guy has been responsible for more than one conflict so far.
What do you think?
Not bad. Tastes just like back in Mondstadt.
Varka? You're here for the expo too?
Oh hey, traveler, Paimon. I was only planning to take a look around. Wasn't expecting this pleasant surprise. Out in this part of the world, even a homegrown Mondstadt apple is a rare treat.
Yes, and on that note, I should advise you that the prices are quite different from what you'll be used to back home.
Not a problem. It's a price worth paying for a taste of home. I'll take the whole batch and send someone to collect them later.
The whole batch? Huh. Looks like you've already made your money back, huh, Leben? Oh, and Varka, since you're looking for a taste of home, have you tried the Mondstadt wine next door? Apparently, he uses special connections to keep the import costs down.
Yeah, I've tried it. It's pretty good, but not Mondstadt wine good. Besides, I wouldn't be able to buy any even if it was. We can't have the Grand Master of the Knights of Favonius going around supporting smugglers, can we?
Oh, it's true. You're not gonna reprimand him though, are you?
Don't worry, I know it's Nefer's rules here. Not out to make life difficult for you. If you find yourself at a loose end, come visit our base sometime. I'm gonna get the Knights to make some cider out of these apples.
Oh, you're as generous as they say, Grandmaster.
Looks like you finally made some real profit.
Hey, don't make me sound so incompetent. Though I'll admit, I wasn't expecting to make my money back quite so quickly. Now I can start thinking seriously about my next venture. I'm planning on heading to Snezhnegrad, actually. I hear they're running low on lots of supplies because of Project Stuja. That's a business opportunity if I've ever seen one. With any luck, maybe I'll have the pleasure of seeing you there.
Well, good luck out there. Hope you strike it rich.
I can't believe you came all this way to investigate me. Still, as a member of this expo, I'm protected by the Voynich Guild. There's nothing you can do to stop me.
I know. That's why I'll be taking this up with them directly.
It's been a while. What brings you here this time? Are you representing the Dawn Winery, or are you here as Owl?
Take your pick. Even Owl would take issue with people smuggling the winery's products.
I understand, but please be assured that I would never pit the rules of the Voynich Guild against the interests of the Dawn Winery. Our long-standing collaboration is far too valuable to me for that. No faction exists in Nodcry that can impose their will on everyone else. The rules we have now are a result of the tug-of-war between them all. In any case, I only allowed this gentleman to sell his so-called Dawn Winery vintage here because I'm confident that it poses no threat to our collaboration.
I see. So this isn't from our cellars at all. It's not even from Mondstadt. You... I'm guessing you learned a few of our winemaking techniques, then brewed your own liquor using local ingredients from Nodcry. Imitations like these are no threat to our business.
Oh, just you watch. One day, my wine will leave the Dawn Winery in the dust!
I'll grant that your wine is a perfectly palatable product. But the fact that you didn't dare to sell it without attaching our name to it speaks volumes. That alone tells me that I'll never need to worry about any serious competition from you.
Leaving so soon? Can't I persuade you to come to the Curatorium of Secrets for some tea with me and your 2 old friends?
Hey there! It sounded like you were discussing some pretty serious business, so Paimon didn't want to interrupt.
I'm afraid I'll have to decline.
That's a shame.
Next time you're back in Mondstadt, pay a visit to the Angel's Share. At least there, I can offer you a genuine Dawn Winery vintage.
See, Lolly, I've been told that the merchants here are all protected by the organizers. I'm afraid confronting him myself will be more trouble than it's worth.
Do I have to do everything myself?
Oh, please! Granny Eatsley, have mercy!
Chaska! Say, Lolly! What are you...
It's a long story. Basically, a few members of the Flower Feather clan brought word from Nodcry that someone was selling Wyob fragments at this expo. Pretty serious stuff. So I brought Seat Lolly here to get to the bottom of it, and hopefully keep things under control.
Oh. Okay, well, as it turns out, we've been tasked with mediating any disputes like this.
Are you intending to try and stop me? Look, I'm not trying to be difficult, but you don't need me to tell you that our Wyob are not for sale. Wait a second. This is just a shard of a Wyob pillar. And its power is long gone, so it no longer has any connection whatsoever to the Wyob. So, tell me, how much did they pay you to ship these out of Natlan?
About 800,000 more apiece.
What?
Apparently, people outside of Natlan don't know all that much about our culture. Some people take one look at those pillars and start bragging that they found a Wyob fragment. I didn't want to correct them, because that way I could drum up the price.
Ugh, forget it. Since you asked me so nicely, I'll let him stay here until the expo's over. No point making a mountain out of a molehill.
Oh, thank you, Granny Eatsley.
Oh, don't start thinking you're off the hook. Once this is over, you're going straight to Biram to face the music.
Oh.
Why, hello, Traveler and Paimon. Oh, quite the opposite. I'm her supplier. Nicole came up with a delightful new pricing method recently, which I've asked dear Dory to try out. We're here today to see how it's all going.
What sort of pricing method is that?
Curious? Well, allow me to explain. Instead of an amount of mora, you collect courage, kindness, or happiness from the buyer. The key is to make people realize they don't have to be rich. With an excellence of character, even the treasures of the Hexen Circle are within your reach. Kinda like a Seelie guiding intrepid adventurers through various tribulations until they claim their prize. Such fun, wouldn't you say? Not for me. We didn't sell much Hex and Zircle gear this time at all. At this point, I'll have to whip out some Samara specialties just to break even.
Wait, you're actually losing money, Dory?
You're saying our gifts didn't reach that many people? I'm saying we made diddly squat. Hate to break it to you, Miss Mage, but you don't have much of a heck for business.
It might not have made much, but this has been quite a fun little experiment. To make it up to you, all the revenue from our merchandise is yours to keep, Dory.
Oh, they don't call you a great mage for nothing, Miss Alice.
Captain Beto's hook was what got him in the end, huh? Oh, I didn't get a chance to show off how convincing I can be.
This isn't tabletop troop, Navia. In real life, persuasion takes a lot more than a dice roll.
I brought a product tailor-made for Fontaine because I thought the group's activities were limited to that area. Turns out, we're dealing with an international crime ring. So I suppose it makes sense that Captain Beto's bait was more enticing. It's a good thing we teamed up.
We wouldn't have gotten far without your intel either. Gotta ask, though, how did you know these guys would be so quick to abandon the expo?
I read their file. Nothing's off the table for them when profit's on the line. When it comes down to it, they'd see the protection the expo provides as just more red tape. Something to work around rather than with. Just like the law.
So, we meet up with this guy, catch him, and problem solved, right?
No. The person we're meeting is just an underling sent to scout the situation. We're after the leader of the whole ring. And after observing the situation over the past 2 days, it's clear they have undercover agents waiting in the wings. If something happens to our point of contact, those agents will scatter to spread word of what happened, and whoever is behind this whole thing will know we're onto them.
In that case...
We have to get the jump on them all at once, and use them to get intel on our real target before he has a chance to react.
Forgive me for pointing out the obvious, though. We have nowhere near enough personnel for that. If even one of the agents escapes, it's over.
Let me guess. You'd rather follow this deal through to the end to lure out the real culprit? Nice idea, in theory. The problem is, in my experience, that person would never show their face for something like this.
I can work around that, but only as long as the deal goes ahead.
So, you're planning to trail the person picking up the goods. I suppose that could lead us to the big fish, but that would mean we have to actually hand over the weapon. Aren't you worried about putting something that dangerous in the hands of criminals?
We can control how dangerous it is. But if we followed your plan, could we really guarantee that not a single agent would get away?
You're telling me you really have a way to mitigate the threat of that weapon?
You're telling me that you really have the wherewithal to carry out a large-scale search and seizure operation in Nodcry?
Are they having a fight?
They're both experts in this sort of thing. A lot of back and forth is to be expected.
Don't worry. I think they're getting along great.
A successful collaboration requires trust. And a willingness to make concessions. So how about this? I'll meet up with the underling as planned and stall him as long as possible. While I'm keeping him busy, you round up the rest of the agents. Sound like a plan?
Yes, I appreciate the trust. And I promise you, not a single one will get away.
See? Like 2 peas in a pod.
Traveler, you should come with me to meet the buyer. After all, we promised Nefer you would be involved in all our operations.
The Traveler is kind of a famous face around these parts, though.
Then, you can serve as backup. Remain hidden, and on the off chance he tries anything, it'll be 2 against 1.
Ha! Let's do this thing!
Oh, you really can't go lower?
Best I can do is shave off the amount the guild was going to take.
You're a tough nut to crack. How do you plan to deliver the goods?
Depends on what you need. You don't look like you're from around these parts. So I'm guessing you need sea transport?
Yes, but there are a lot of eyes on the port. It would be better to dismantle the product and transport the components in crates.
That might be tricky. If you're worried about getting caught, then let's bypass the port entirely. We can launch from a secluded shoreline and use our own boat for transport.
Sorry. But I'd still prefer to have it dismantled and stored in regular crates.
Ah, I'm guessing the port of arrival is where you resell the goods? You want it hidden in unassuming cargo crates, because you operate right out in the open. Most of the weapons have come in through Yilong Wharf or Lumiduce Harbor, so that seems to check out.
What are you trying to say?
Nothing. Just connecting some dots. I think we're done here.
Take that!
Out of the way!
It's one of the undercover agents! He's making a break for it!
The captain of the Special Patrol will take it from here.
One just popped up. Looks like the one on the surface has been subdued. There are children around. I have to avoid bloodshed. Trying to escape? Allow me to show you the way! Nope, not this way. Had enough? Then turn around! Out of steam yet? 'Cause I can do this all day!
My leg!
Is still attached. And if you want to keep it that way, I suggest you stay right where you are.
A special patrol uniform. You think bringing me in is enough? Do you even know how many of us there are? If even one gets a...
5 at the port, 10 on the outskirts of Nasha Town, 3 near the plaza. Factoring in you and the buyer, that makes 20. Save the best for last, right?
How did you...
Don't even think about it.
Well done, everyone. We appreciate the assist. The boss sends her thanks.
It was an honor. Without the Spina's help back in the day, we never would have been able to make it in Nodcry. It was about time we returned the favor.
What? I needed to make you seem intimidating to get these local gangs on our side. We've been over this.
Yeah, I know. But hearing you call me boss will never not be hilarious.
Wow! Navia is something else!
Well, that explains your confidence. I had no idea the Spina di Rosula could mobilize these kinds of numbers outside of Fontaine. This Navia has quite a few tricks up her sleeve.
No trade expo rules were broken either. Even if Nefer saw it all unfold herself, we still wouldn't need to explain a thing.
Except for the guild's broken signboard, I would imagine.
It was an unavoidable sacrifice.
At any rate, I suppose the next step is to get these birds to sing. Should be an easy job. The Maison Gardiennage has a reputation for highly effective interrogation tactics.
And if that doesn't work, I've heard that spies from Liyue have their ways of making people talk as well.
Yes, that means the operation was a success, right?
So far. Once we get someone to reveal who the mastermind behind all this is, that's when the real work begins.
I'm sure that person is in hiding somewhere far removed from the expo. But as far as our deal with the curatorium goes, I think that's a wrap.
Shouldn't we update Nefer then?
First, we need to figure out what we can learn from these agents. We'll be in touch once we have the information. Then we can head to the curatorium together.
Well, that went a lot smoother than expected. Not a single one got away. You're thinking about Nefer's final request, huh? Let's see. We have 2 expert detectives from separate nations teaming up to uncover an international crime ring. That's not a bad story. If you feel like it's missing something, maybe Yelan and Chevras will uncover something more interesting during their interrogation.
Excuse me? Are you the Traveler? Yehoda needs you back at the expo venue as soon as possible.
Oh no! Did something happen?
I'm sorry, I don't know the details. All she said was that it's urgent.
Now let's get a move on!
If you want to drum up some business, all you gotta do is holler, and everyone on the first floor will be able to see you. Also, you have to come this way to get to the second floor, which pretty much guarantees that everyone attending the expo will notice you guys at some point. Not bad, huh? Thanks to the spot I saved you, you guys will be drowning in business before you know it.
Your point being?
Cross-referencing Yehoda's current facial expression against database. Confirmed. Analysis suggests that Yehoda hopes we will return the favor.
You bet I do. At least Robo-Girl gets it.
Okay, how do we do that?
Generating proposal. Complete. Yehoda, the next time you visit the workshop, I will reserve the seat closest to the hallway for you.
Huh?
This seat provides priority access to any dessert items delivered from the kitchen. It is also free from window glare and sits at optimal proximity to the teapot. By reserving this premium spot for you, I can guarantee you a most enjoyable dessert sampling experience.
Is this your idea of a fair trade?
Are you kidding me? That spot's usually reserved for me. I'd never let you take it if I didn't have my dessert budget to consider. What's going on? Yehoda looks upset.
All right, I'll level with you. Since I saved you such a great spot for your booth and all, could you possibly lend me some technical support? Please?
Technical support?
This year's expo is way bigger than ever before, which means there's definitely gonna be more shenanigans going down too. I know, surely you have some kind of contraption that can, like, scare everyone at the expo into compliance or something. As the manager, I need something I can fall back on in case the you-know-what hits the fan.
Let me think. If things escalated that far, shouldn't you just report it to Nefer instead of trying to deal with it yourself?
Well, yes, technically speaking. But if, for example, it was somehow kind of my fault to begin with, I'd probably be better off solving it myself on the DL. Remember those 3 kids? Well, that punk who was harassing them wasn't just some random nobody. He was just the one that got picked to stir things up. There's a whole bunch of people here who aren't happy with the booth situation. Now, obviously, they don't have the guts to pick a fight with the Voynich Guild directly, but apparently, they at least have the guts to harass 3 kids outside the confines of the expo. The problem is, I'm not really supposed to get involved with anything that isn't strictly to do with the expo, so the whole thing would kind of be hard to explain to Neff. Not that I regret what I did, but jeez, Yehoda, you sure know how to make life harder for yourself.
Okay, yeah. Sounds like we need to be smart about this. Fine. Just this once, I guess I can lend you the Clink Clank Crisis Control Switch.
Agreed. This option meets Yehoda's requirement for an expo-wide intimidation strategy.
A Clink Clank Crisis Control Switch. What's that?
This little guy right here. I made it recently after getting myself into a really sticky situation. To activate the switch, you just need to give him 3 taps on the head. If you do that, there's pretty much nothing in Nodcry that you won't be able to handle.
Really? So what actually happens when you activate it?
You'll find out if it comes to it, but I'm only letting you use it once, so you better save it for when you really need it.
Okay, cool. I'll take your word for it. Either I throw the guild under the bus, or I get on the bad side of a terrifying merc captain. Oh, could this get any worse? Get it together, Yehoda. Focus on the hot dog you're gonna treat yourself to after today is over. One thing at a time. All right. You've got this.
Let's try not to get too worked up, all right?
Don't worry. We'll get to the bottom of this. I swear.
What happened?
You're here. Please, you've got to help me, Traveler. A theft at the expo is gonna ruin the guild's reputation.
A theft? How did that happen?
You're asking me. The guild has people keeping watch over the storage area for this exact reason. And it just had to happen to one of the scariest people here.
Beto? Wait, that means...
The guild asked us to keep our goods stored on the designated shelves. I had a few prototypes that I was using for demonstration, which I had stored there. But when I came to check on things just now, I noticed that all of them had been stolen.
And each ballista is super dangerous. If they fall into the wrong hands...
Well, all the prototypes have a failsafe designed to prevent unauthorized use, so it could be worse. Still, we should get them back as soon as possible.
The guild will make sure of that. If you could just keep this between us for now, we would be super appreciative.
Do we have to tell her?
Honesty is the best policy. That's what he taught us.
I know, it's just...
Miss Yehoda...
What are you 3 doing here?
There's something you want to tell me, isn't there?
Well, Neb's been obsessed with the ballistas ever since we got here. That's why Uncle Ashvapati told us to come see your booth. It seemed like he was interested in them too, because he even told us what parameters to ask about. Ever since this morning, we haven't been able to reach him. We wanted to ask Miss Yehoda for help, but then we heard about the ballistas being stolen.
And?
I don't think Uncle Ashvapati would do something like that, but...
Ashvapati works for the guild. He has access to the storage warehouse, so he could get inside without the guards getting suspicious. Wait, So now it's an inside job? Oh, jeez. The guild is never gonna recover from this.
He made those toys the kids were selling, right? They don't look like much on the outside, but I bet they're hiding some serious tech. If he's a tech guy, those fail-safes I mentioned might not have our backs after all.
So, this just went from bad to worse. Oh, uh-oh.
Could be. I mean, let's put it this way. There aren't a whole lot of people that could manage to stay off Yelan's radar. Why don't you take these kids to the curatorium and see what you can learn? I've got things covered here.
Got it! Hold up. We can't hold these kids responsible, though. Right?
No, of course not, but... Ugh, how do we explain this?
You want to look out for these kids, don't you?
I promised I would. Besides, they're innocent in all this.
Good, because I'm looking out for them too. That's why I want to find their uncle as soon as possible. No matter what he did or didn't do, it's worse for them if he's missing.
I guess we're on the same page then.
Take these kids to the curatorium. I'll update Yelan and tell her to meet you there.
Will do!
Well, this complicates things. Here I was hoping the trouble would start and end with you two. But no matter. This will all make for a very engaging story.
I wouldn't be so flippant. This time, it's one of yours causing trouble. I'm starting to wonder if all those agents we captured were just a distraction, so the real culprit could make their move.
It's all still up in the air right now. What can you three tell us about Ashvapati?
Uncle Ashvapati isn't our real uncle, but he is our guardian. He adopted us when we were little. He told us we all came from the same band of eremites in the desert. But apparently, we're the only ones left. We've been traveling from place to place with him for as long as I can remember. We got to Nagcry not too long ago.
Their eyes.
What about them?
I'm just reminded of something. About a decade ago, there was a band of eremites who, seemingly out of nowhere, gained technological capabilities far surpassing those of other groups. Leveraging that advantage, they built a number of highly advanced weapons and sold them to the highest bidder. The conflicts in the desert became even bloodier as a result. While the other groups were tearing each other to shreds, these newly minted arms traders stood by and reaped the spoils. But before long, their own weapons were turned against them. And as the flames of conflict engulfed the desert, the group met their end. None of the weapons survived, and so in the wake of that destruction, the status quo of the desert was restored.
That's terrible.
In the desert, it's kill or be killed. People will stop at nothing to gain the upper hand. If this happened in Fontaine or Liyue, I'm sure the perpetrators would have been prosecuted to the full extent of the law. But in the desert, no one bats an eye. From what they've told us, sounds like these kids are orphans from that particular band of eremites.
Which means their guardian is likely one of the few survivors as well.
Sounds like it.
No! Uncle Ashvapati would never do something like that! No matter what happened back then, I know one thing for sure. Uncle Ashvapati hates weapons. Sure, he's good at building things, but all he does is make toys for us to play with. He can't be the kind of person you're making him out to be. Or...
I'm sorry. All we can do is act upon the facts.
So, what's our next move?
From our interrogations, we've learned that in 2 days, the person behind all this has a meeting planned to collect the goods. If all goes well, we can head to the pickup point and ambush them. But if Ashvapati is part of this and the leader learns what happened, there's no chance he risks himself for his agents. So, that meeting might as well be moot.
Then let's focus our efforts on Ashvapati for now. If we find him, he might just lead us to our culprit. If he stole the prototypes, there's bound to be a trail. I'm confident I can track him down. I just need some time.
What can I do to help?
I work best in the shadows. The more people involved, the harder it is to operate. As soon as I've got a location, though, he's all yours. You let me handle the search, and I'll let the special patrol handle the seizure.
That does sound like the most feasible plan. I'll be waiting for the good news.
Seizure?
Hey, don't worry too much right now. The most important thing is that we find your uncle. The rest can wait.
Okay.
Looks like I'll need to enlist your services for a bit longer, Traveler.